Konami is one of the most beloved third-party game publishers of all time, creators of many popular series that would ultimately go on to define their genres. Action games wouldn't be the same today without Contra or Castlevania. Metal Gear paved the way for popular stealth games. Gradius is perhaps the most important shoot-'em-up ever made, and you can't mention the horror genre without mentioning Silent Hill. The publishing giant has gone on to make successful RPGs, sports games, and even dating sims, but one genre that almost no one associates Konami with is the fighting genre. When I heard that Konami created a fighting game, I knew I had to check it out.
Gas Fighters Next Dream.
Okay. Oh, this is kinda lame. Oh, bland graphics and stiff control. Wait, stop. What? Why is the camera doing that? Ah! Stop! Alright, no more. I guess it's time to go to video game hell. Yeek.
Game over.
That game is god-awful, but thankfully we're not here to talk about that one. This is the fighting game we're here to talk about. Lightning Legend Daigo no Daibouken, or Daigo's Great Adventure for the PlayStation 1. Released only in Japan right at the end of 1996, it's jam-packed with charm and humor, and also happens to be a fun, solid fighting game at the same time. Unlike many other fighting games for the PlayStation in that era, Lightning Legend was made from the ground up exclusively for the system and not ported over from the arcades. Set in the fictional Japan-esque country of Japone, the game initially provides you with 8 different characters to play as and 2 game modes, Story and Versus. I love the way the character select screen is designed, as it's much more clever and interesting than other fighting games. There's an option to change this to a quick select mode, but it's rather pointless since it doesn't really cut down on the time it takes to select a fighter, and only serves to make the selection screen more drab. Anyway, each character has his or own story, which unfolds through 2D cutscenes in between fights. Since this game wasn't meant to be a quarter muncher, the story and dialogue between characters are fleshed out a bit more than your standard fighting game. In general, 3D graphics from the PS1 era have aged terribly, but somehow Lightning Legend still looks pretty good nearly 2 decades after its initial release. The graphics are colorful and bright, and the art style is very appealing. Animation is nice and fluid, and the character models are quite detailed, showing a lot of expression on their faces. Music in Lightning Legend is top-notch, pretty much what you'd expect from a Konami game. There are a lot of typical anime themes and tropes in the game. You've got your young boy hero out to save the world, the cute mascot character, a ninja superhero, a burning youth fighting for justice, some boob touch action, but no giant robots, sadly. To be honest, I don't really watch or care for anime, but I love the style of Lightning Legend. The cast of characters are all distinct and likable, the story is presented as parody, and nothing is ever taken too seriously. The fighting game system is pretty solid and easy to pick up and play due to its relatively simple control scheme. On default settings, the D-pad is used for movement and the 4 face buttons are used to execute light, medium, and heavy attacks, as well as a taunt. Special moves are performed by combining different inputs of the D-pad with one of the attack buttons, similar to Street Fighter. Holding down the heavy attack and taunt buttons at the same time charges a power meter that can be used for super attacks, and taunting will cause your opponent's power meter to decrease slightly. Pressing back on the D-pad makes your character block, but there's also an auto block feature that takes effect when there's no controller input. Finally, you can grab opponents by simultaneously taunting and moving right or left, and compare your attacks by pressing the light and medium attack buttons together. At first, controls feel a bit stiff and it may be hard to pull off some of the moves, but in no time you'll be stringing together combos and winning matches with ease. A nice little bonus that comes included with the game to help out are character cards that list all inputs for their special and super moves on the reverse side. There's a nice feeling of impact when attacks connect, but at times hit detection can feel a bit spotty or off, with attacks clearly hitting your opponent but to no effect. It's frustrating but nothing game-breaking. Balancing in the game is pretty good for the most part, but there are definitely some characters who are better than others. In particular, Adolf and Misa come to mind. Adolf is fast, powerful, has long combo strings, can shoot projectiles, and has 2 super moves when most of the cast only has 1. Clearly alpha. And Misa is, in my opinion, the best character in the game due to her awesome high damage special moves, speed, and dash attack. Her combos seem to connect more than any other character, and I barely ever lost a round using her, even on higher difficulty settings. But I guess this is not surprising, since in most fighting games, any character who graduated from the Mai Shiranui school of boob jiggle animations is usually a bit overpowered. They do it for the fans. Anyway, the driving force to continue playing Lightning Legend stems from item collection. After each round, you receive an item from your opponent, and what item you get depends on a variety of circumstances. You'll get different items for more obvious things like winning a round without taking damage, finishing with a super move, and victory by timeout. But some items require you to mix things up a bit, such as winning a round with only 1 second left on the clock and losing to an opponent without causing any damage whatsoever. Every character has 16 items to unlock, and the conditions to unlock these are the same for each one. You can view your collected items in the game records, and a majority of them unlock some kind of bonus, such as developer messages and extra costumes, but most are concept artwork of the various characters in the game. Collecting all items for the aforementioned Misa also unlocks a new alternative character for her twin sister Disa. Additionally, there are a few items that unlock based purely on chance, and these allow access to new modes. Obtaining a gold watch unlocks time attack mode, and finding a treasure box and a treasure key will unlock collection mode. Time attack is just that, an arcade mode with the purpose of clearing the game with the best time possible. And collection mode is a series of never-ending fights with any characters of your choice, making item collection much easier. But unfortunately, since obtaining the items to unlock these modes are random, you may have to play through story mode many times before you find them, which can be annoying. I beat the game with all characters, did several more playthroughs, and found 4 gold watches until I finally found a treasure chest and could unlock collection mode. Unlockables that aren't dependent on item collection are 4 new characters, 2 of which are added to the roster after your first story mode playthrough, and 2 more for completing the game a couple of times without the use of a continue, which can be made easier by setting rounds to 1. Unfortunately, they cannot be used in story mode, but are available for everything else, and have their own set of items to collect. Lightning Legend is a fun, well-designed fighting game with great presentation, an interesting world and characters, and a lot of replayability and extra content. This was such a good first attempt at a new fighting game series that it's really a shame that it never saw a sequel, spin-off, or anything else related to the IP. You can tell the creators really put a lot of care and effort into the game, and I would have loved to have seen what else they could have done with the series. But anyway, if you're looking for a good fighting game experience on the PlayStation 1, I highly recommend checking out Lightning Legend. You should have no trouble picking it up since it sells for pretty cheap and is not all that uncommon. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and please check out my channel for more videos like this one.